A Working Man is a new action film now available to check out in theaters. Welcome into Real Talk with Ryan. I appreciate if you're new, definitely clicking on this video and checking out my thoughts. And if you are new, definitely hit that subscribe button. I do all kinds of reviews on this channel. Give the video a like and comment below your thoughts on A Working Man. Now, this was directed by David Ayer, and he's done films like the original Suicide Squad movie, End of Watch, and The Beekeeper. And this film, it stars Jason Statham, David Harbour, and Michael Peña. And what is this film about? Well, it's about Jason Statham's character, in which he is a construction worker. His boss's daughter goes missing after being human trafficked by these different Russian mobsters, and so he has to go on a mission to actually track her down. Now, when I saw a trailer for this film, I immediately thought to myself, yay, another Jason Statham action movie in which he plays some type of worker, and it's going to be the same song and dance that we've seen a million times. And I can confirm that it is one of those films that we've seen a million times, done over and over by Jason Statham, which, you know, if you're a big Jason Statham fan, you're going to really love this movie because he does more of the same in most of his roles that he's done that I've actually seen on screen. There's been like a few movies that I've seen where back in the day he did a little bit different roles, but nowadays he does these kind of different job roles and is just doing the same kind of stunts, and he's Jason Statham. You know him as Jason Statham, you know what he's going to do on screen. But from a positive standpoint, there were some fight scenes and choreography that I did enjoy here. I think Jason Statham, he knows how to play these kind of characters. He's got the role down to a T, so I can't really complain on that front. I think in certain aspects, some of the film is shot well, but there's a little bit of negative to that, which does lead me into my negatives, because I don't really have a lot of positives for this film, but there are certain like moments in this film that were fun. But going on to my negatives, I think this film is kind of inconsistently shot, and I don't know if it was my screen. I haven't heard anybody mention this in their review, but I think at times this film is shot well. I think like the camera work is done pretty well. And then there's other scenes in here where like the lighting, it's like really bright. It looks really off. It looks kind of unprofessional. I don't know if like that's what they were going for, like more lighting in certain scenes, but some of it was like too bright to me, and I was like, yeah, like I don't know. I don't know if they were trying to use like natural lighting from like the sun, but there was just certain moments in the film where I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't like this lighting all that much. Jason Statham here, you know, it's the standard kind of role. I think there are parts in this film where what really bugs me about action films at certain times is your main character, like they never face any danger. I felt like he never had any danger in this film whatsoever. He's kind of picking off all these Russian mobsters kind of one by one, and there's like a ton of them, which they have way too many characters in this film. And I think like by the third act, I think they just kind of throw more and more at him, and I thought like they just really prolong the movie like too much with that aspect. And some of the characters, they're kind of goofy, some of them are kind of weak, and some of them have personalities, don't get me wrong, and you know, you have that kind of on screen and you can kind of appreciate some of those personalities, but there are some characters I was like, we don't really need this. David Harbour's in this movie, and he's a blind man, and he adds no value to the film whatsoever. I think he was a complete waste. That's like extra money down the drain that you throw into this movie because you pay him the salary and you don't really need to. You could just have any old character to me within this film. There's other parts too where like Jason Statham is fighting all these guys. He fights like 12, 13 guys at once, takes them all down, doesn't even get a scratch, especially within like the third act. There's definitely that whole aspect with like some explosions, and he's got this gun and he's shooting everybody and going through this house. I mean, those kind of scenes, yeah, they're cool, like if you appreciate action movies, but I just never felt like he was in any danger. And again, he doesn't get any scratches or anything. So like those little things kind of bug me in a film like this. And I think, again, like Jason Statham, I mean, he's one of those actors where I feel like, yeah, he's in this kind of genre all the time. And I think just for me, when it comes down to it, there's fun little moments in this film, but it's not really breaking any new ground. Like, it's one of those films that you kind of have to shut your brain off. You watch the action, you watch some ridiculous scenes, you have some movie magic here and there, but don't expect anything like spectacular. And I think that's just kind of how this film really is overall, and kind of really what I expected from it. It's one of those films that I could say that I can enjoy it in certain aspects, and I enjoy Jason Statham kind of in this role, but I wish that he would branch out. Like, how many times do we have to see him, you know, just in a role like this, and he's just doing the same kind of thing. But I will say, from this film compared to Beekeeper last year, this didn't annoy me like Beekeeper did. I thought with that one there was way too much comedy. He had all these like weird one-liners, and it was kind of goofy and kind of all over the place. And really, to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of this director. Suicide Squad, that original Suicide Squad, I think is absolutely not that great of a movie. I did like End of Watch, but that's probably the only movie that I've ever really liked from this director. So going into this movie as well, like David Ayer isn't a director that I particularly really love all that much, but I think here, like what he does and captures, like he knows how to use Jason Statham in a film, so I feel like he has like the strength of using Jason Statham's strengths in this movie. So on that front, like those kind of aspects are good about the movie, and he can get what he can out of Jason Statham. From a camera work perspective, I thought there were scenes where there was quite a bit of shaky cam. I mean, it's not like terrible like I've seen in some other films of late. As far as like action films, I would say like maybe of last year, there were some other films like Monkey Man, I remember last year. That one just drove me crazy with the shaky cam, so it wasn't as bad as like a film like that, but there were moments where I did notice some shaky cam. There's definitely noticeable elements of like green screen, not as bad as like Expendables 4, like that is like ridiculously bad, but there are definitely parts in here where I could definitely notice like green screen that, you know, it's just there, and you definitely notice that it is there in certain aspects of the film. I think with me in action films, there's a certain type of action film I like, but I like an action film with a character where they're not really made into like a superhero, where like in this film you have guys chasing after him and like they have the worst aim ever. They don't really make him like a human. They make him like a superhuman, like taking down like 12, 13 men at once. And like I said, he doesn't get a scratch when he's fighting and when he's terrorizing all these different mobsters. It's like way too easy. And to me, that's kind of boring in a way, because it makes it very just easy to really get him through the story and not really facing like a lot of challenges. And for me, like I like a little bit more of a challenge. To me, this is like really cut, dry, paced type of John Wick kind of film, I guess you could say. I mean, it's great when you can take down guys, but when they're taking down like 12, 13 men at once, I mean, come on, let's be a little bit more realistic. Let's make this guy a little bit more human. He's not a superhero. So I think on that front, like that little thing kind of bothers me about films like these, because I just feel like you could do a little bit different from like, you know, every other action film that we see. And I think this is kind of one of those run-of-the-mill type of action films that we've seen like 100 times. And then, like I said, Jason Statham, he's not doing anything different. I had to laugh a little bit in this film because the main like drug dealer that Jason Statham is supposedly trying to get this girl back from, he has like a henchman and a henchwoman, and man, they are pretty bad like team together. And there's a part in the third act of this film where they have obviously kidnapped this little girl, and this little girl, she's got a mouth on her, no doubt, like she speaks her mind. But there's a scene towards like that third act where she all of a sudden just like develops like this super strength to like take down the henchwoman. I was like, really? Like that was that easy? Come on. Like, I can't imagine somebody that's like a top mob boss that has like these two goofy henchmen and henchwomen, so to speak, and they can't even protect like this girl. Like, I had to laugh at that part. That part did make me laugh. I would give it a 2.5 out of 5. It was okay. Like, I didn't mind it. It didn't like overly like annoy me, but there's definitely elements I can pick out of it where I didn't really enjoy. And I just wish, from an action standpoint, I just wish we could change it up a little bit. What did you think about A Working Man? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was kind of meh? Leave any and all comments down below. And what is your favorite Jason Statham movie? Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys next time.